But I've been saying it's kind of funny to think that there were only a couple of things that could have prevented us from doing what we had planned.
Yeah.
Nuclear war, land invasion, and pandemic. And that's probably the best of the three,
I mean, I have not lived through any of the three.
Yeah.
This is the first one for me. So, all right. I mean, we're doing it. I'm still alive, lucky for that. And I don't know what it would be like if we were in nuclear war. Probably not good. Probably worse than this.
I would venture to guess much worse. Yes.
Probably. Yeah. That's my imagination about it. I don't even think pandemic ever crossed my mind. Like, you're saying that there's three things that could have prevented us. I think that's true, but I don't think I ever even considered that one of those three things would happen.
No.
And this maybe is ignorant, but I didn't think that a pandemic was real. Do you know what I mean? I didn't think that this type of global pandemic could even actually happen. I thought it was something that you see in sci-fi movies, and it's this invisible thing that's spreading around and uncontrollable. And I honestly just didn't believe that that was a thing that could actually happen.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways, it seems like it's a lot harder to have this sort of thing happen nowadays, and in other ways, it seems like it would be much easier, which kind of sums up the whole experience living through this thing, which
Right.
is that nobody knows anything, and it's totally based on whatever you choose to believe magically that day, that hour.
Yeah. Well, and whatever the general public is believing that day, that hour, whatever the news cycle is throwing your way, whatever the people you happen to be chatting with on the phone or on Zoom or something,
Yeah.
whatever they're freaking out about at the moment.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. I don't
Yeah.
think we are the only ones starting a podcast right now.
No.
It's kind of nice to have the community, and this is something we've been planning for, but it seems like in this particular predicament, a lot of people are choosing to use their time in a similar way, recording things. And I was listening to someone, I wish I remembered who it was, but they were talking about how both anxiety and calm are things that are super spreadable. What's the word? Contagious.
Oh, okay.
Which is funny that they're talking about that during a pandemic, which is also very contagious in a physical way. But these emotions of anxiety and calm are also incredibly contagious. So just thinking about this idea of every hour, every day, you feel something different and you understand it in a different way, I think that those are two things that are spreading around, and that's part of it. And I think mostly anxiety and fear are the things that are spreading one idea or another.
Calm is contagious?
Yeah.
Did they elaborate on that? I'm a little skeptical.
They did. So this person, and maybe I'll try and figure out what I was listening to so we can put it in the notes, because it was really interesting. And this person was talking specifically relating it to a workplace scenario and saying if there's this work emergency and you're at your desk and your coworker comes over and says, oh my God, this happened, I'm freaking out, and you respond and say, oh shit, I can't believe that happened, I'm freaking out too, and start rummaging around and run over and you go to alert someone else, it's this anxiety spreading, right? We get that. That's easy. But if the coworker comes over to you, is freaking out, and you respond in a way that's calm, and you take a breath, and you speak a little bit slower, and you say something like, oh wow, I'm sorry to hear that. This isn't great, but let's sit down and figure out a solution.
Yeah.
Then instead of running around and spreading that anxiety around the office, then the coworker that was previously freaking out will most likely sit down with you, take that breath, and figure it out together.
Yeah.
And then they become calm.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it in that scenario. I guess when I think of contagions, I think of them on a mass scale. And I feel like anxiety I can see, because anxiety can manifest in more ways than one, I feel like.
Yeah.
Or at least it can energetically convert into something that's similar. Like anxiety could lead to anger, which I feel like kind of feels the same in this description.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like there's some sort of threshold at which calm becomes questioned, and then it's not something that can spread any longer.
That's a good point. And I wonder if calm and anxiety were to go into some sort of ring and like duke it out.
Yeah.
Is that a phrase? Duke it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you think you just made one?
It sounded right coming out of my mouth, but then I thought that I might be mixing some up. But okay, so if calm and anxiety were to duke it out,
yeah,
I wonder which one would win. Because you're right, anxiety sort of does have this. You see, sometimes if you're feeling, and this happens with me and you, sometimes I'm feeling anxious, and I've used this phrase before, unnervingly calm.
Mm-hmm.
And then it doesn't help my anxiety, it doesn't spread. But I think there's a level where it can spread. So when the calm is sort of used in a demeaning way, I don't think it's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And not that that's what you do to me. Or if it's used in a way that's kind of not acknowledging the anxiety, not giving it space to be a true thing in existence, that maybe doesn't work. But I feel like, I don't know. Again, I'll put a link to the thing because I don't know if I'm doing it full justice because I can only remember that office scenario. It was an interesting thought.
I think it almost feels like an analogy to Star Wars or something, with the dark side and the light side. Like I feel like mastered calm will beat mastered anxiety in a 1v1 situation, regardless. But
if it's one-on-one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think that, mass scale, that calm can beat anxiety.